Mm. All right, going live. Hi, friends, just admitting you in here. Let me go to that view. There we go. Hello, hello. Good to see you all. So I thought I was viewing myself there. There we go. Hi, Travis, good to see you. I'm just letting everybody in. We'll begin as soon as I get everybody kind of into the rooms. Kind of got this to where I have to admit you're welcome to be on video or not. Know that we are also streaming over onto YouTube, so you can watch this later should you want to. Kind of be, so if you don't want to be on camera, that's cool. Just turn your camera off, real easy. I just know a lot of people can't always make a certain time, so made it so we could all kind of get on here together.
Your camera off?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, your camera's on. I see you.
Hi.
Your camera's definitely on. However, if you want it to be off, you're welcome to do that.
Okay. Stop recording, right?
Nope, that's me. So
no, I don't want to stop your recording.
I don't think you would be able to. But you can just go down to the bottom corner there.
Yeah, I got it.
And you can stop video. There you go. But if you want to be on, there you are. So
I can go on and off all I want.
Yes, you can. Beautiful. So I'm going to put myself on my live view here, and I'll see most of you, but definitely these sessions are meant to be interactive, and eventually we'll have some of them in the clinic. I was finding that we'll get a little bit more of an attendance and frankly, maybe even more interaction when we don't do it in the clinic. So just you do it from the privacy of your own home. So what I'm going to do, at least for the time being, is I'm just going to mute everyone. You're welcome to come back on as needed. And I want to, I think we're just a few minutes over, but I want to kind of introduce integration to you. So you came on here maybe because you're curious, or maybe because you're considering some ideas of doing psychedelics, or you've used them, or maybe you've are in the process of that. And really, I can tell you, I'm going to start with just a quote today, just a really easy quote, kind of like how I'd start a yoga class. And it's by a French philosopher named Pascal. And he said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit still in a room. All of man's problems stem from his inability to sit still in a room. And I think what he was really referring to, thank you for the little heart over there. If you'd like to pop into the chat, I'll keep it open. But really what he's referring to is, we can do just fine until we have to sit with ourselves. And then we start to conjure up ideas about what reality is, maybe even what we need to accomplish, or even moving either into our forward thinking or our backwards thinking. And the reason why I bring this up is that's really what a psychedelic session is. And it's that it's almost like that we take this moment in time and sit still with everything else that's all around us. And so that's what the magic of that is. The magic of it is that it's a moment for us to sit still with our mind. Now, the reason why integration is so pivotal and key is because I'm going to use a couple analogies today. We're going to do some breath work. I'm going to guide you into a little bit of a meditation. I'm going to talk through 6 steps that are involved in integrating. We're going to go through all that stuff today. But I wanted to just spend a little bit of time talking about why integration, why it's something. And then I want to open it up to you guys at the end to kind of chat about it. But the analogy that gets used quite often is that of the fresh powder. And we just got some new snow here in southern Utah, so it really relates. But you have these tracks, that the skis are always going down, and you're kind of in those ruts if you're on that trail. But should you get a fresh layer of powder, you have an opportunity. I mean, it used to just be my favorite time when I was, growing up, and even now, when you have fresh powder where you can carve your own tracks, where you can carve your own space. And that's, to me, kind of what psychedelics are, is they are a fresh layer of powder that sits on top of those tracks. And here you are getting the opportunity to create new ones. Now, thing is, when that snow melts, those ruts that were there from before, maybe in mountain biking season, here we are in the analogy, are still going to be there unless we've carved new paths. And that is really what integration is. I want to tell you a little story. I have a particular patient. I'll leave the name confidential just for those reasons. He is a patient here in the clinic. By the way, those who don't know me, my name is Ryan Bean. I am a clinician and therapist here in southern Utah at Satori Health and Wellness. And I'm a breath worker, a founder of ketamine breath work, and co-founder of Language of Breath, which I'll be presenting at TED Talks this year, TEDx St. George. So if you're interested in visiting that or being a part of that, you can learn more about breath work. That's why breath work is such a big part of what I offer. But this particular patient was coming in for ketamine breath work. So ketamine psychotherapy with breath work using lozenges. That's something we do daily in our clinic. And he is a chronic patient. I would say someone who is diagnosed mania, maybe even schizophrenia, definitely suicide ideation, and a slew of other things, which has landed him on lithium and other opiates. Now, this particular patient continues to want to do psychedelic sessions, however, has not been implementing integration. I wish he was on the call today, or I wouldn't tell his story if he was, but not implementing some of the tools, and therefore just continuing to come back to disassociate for a little while. And frankly, in those kind of situations, we tend to withhold treatment most days. We just say, this is not working because you're not implementing integration. Integration is really saying, now that I've found this whole space of, whatever it is in my first or second, I would tell you it's in your initial psychedelic sessions. I mean, when somebody has done 10 or 100, it's rare, but it does happen that you have a breakthrough session. But really, those pivotal moments happen in your early stages of learning about psychedelics and getting into them. They tend to be the ones that be most meaningful. They tend to be the ones that open your eyes to new things, whether it be with mushrooms, whether it be with ayahuasca, whether it be with ketamine. And ketamine is what I talk most about, and psilocybin, because that's what I facilitate. But there are other modalities that are quite helpful. But when you have those breakthrough moments, and we get these chronic returners, the people that just come back, they'll go to the people who go to like a Tony Robbins, and they just go Tony Robbins to Tony Robbins to Tony Robbins to Tony Robbins, or they'll follow another person, or they'll go to ayahuasca retreat to ayahuasca retreat and ayahuasca retreat, and then it never gets implemented. And so they live in this space of going modality to modality or ceremony to ceremony, and none of it really gets applied, thus going back to the ruts that I was just talking about. There's that fresh snow is there. There's the ability to lay new tracks, and it's never implemented, and it's never integrated. And that's what this is about here, is saying, okay, now what? Now that I've had this breakthrough moment, now that I've had this opportunity to create something, I've seen the universe beyond my physical body, I've met God, I've seen the lizard people, whatever it is that's sometimes ineffable, but it's somewhat meaningful. Now what? So that's what we're going to talk about today in this integration session. So We offer these free here at the clinic, at least for the time being. So if you haven't come into Satori Health and Wellness and visited with me, that's cool. But these are for everybody, because I just think everyone is entitled to this service, and it's something that I want to offer to my patients and anyone else who needs it. So that's why we're here today, because I want you to be able to implement this stuff. I see a few friends, a few people returning, and I'm really glad that you're on the call today. I definitely will open it up to talking and stuff here in a minute. But to me, I posted this on my Instagram today. For those who follow me there at Ryan Bean Yoga, I posted it on there, and I posted this particular saying, and it's a Zen Buddhist saying, and it says something along the lines of, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. And people are expecting some sort of profound thing that they are supposed to do now that they've seen that this whole world is open to them. And the truth is, we have to continue to carve paths. So even as a therapist, even as someone facilitating this, I still do my own work all the time to really maintain and do maintenance on what I've already done through ketamine, through other psychedelic modalities, through daily meditation, breath work, ice baths, whatever your special sauce is, that's the one you should use. Whatever one works the best for you. I'm not going to tell you which one is best for you, because I only know what works for me. And as a therapist, I try to just offer tools, whether it be, there's so many, if there's any therapists in the room here, you're like, whatever you specialized in is great. If it's NLP, if it's family therapy, if it's, EMDR, if it's whatever those modalities, they're all great. Okay. They're all great. Do what but really it's going to be up to the practitioner to decide what works for them. Okay. So you can guide them and you can give them the tools, but if they don't do the work, none of those tools really matter. You're just trying to be fancy with them, and nothing is going to really help them through it. So what I found with this particular patient who I was giving you the example of is I changed his protocol. We have a protocol with ketamine breath work, how we do it, how we offer it, how much dosage is per kilogram. And I decided that I wanted to do something different for him because he couldn't be present at all. Not being able to be present at all, I said, well, we're gonna do something else. So this is not an advertisement by any means, but I just wanted you to know what I just want to show you as I talk about them. So basically, I gave him these. Okay, these are from Hemp Lucid, and they are stress gummies. Okay, they have different functional mushrooms in them. Okay, and they also have like a hemp-derived Delta-9 THC, but it's a hemp-derived, so it's legal in the state of Utah. What else is in here? Reishi. Sorry, I'm whoever that was. I'm gonna try to mute you. If you don't mute yourself, please. Has reishi, cordyceps, ashwagandha, and GABA, and along with some other stuff. So pretty amazing stuff. And we just offered that to him in addition to the ketamine therapy. And he had a breakthrough session. Now this particular patient has had, I don't know, over 15 sessions with us. And we're just not seeing it. He just likes to keep coming back and has these daily maintenance things that he really likes doing. So I said, okay, well, we'll do these with you. But he had a breakthrough session in doing something a little bit different. And that was really the therapist saying, what does this particular person need? And for him, he didn't need to disassociate. He really needs to just be present. So maybe that's what you need. So I'm going to go into step one here, and then I'm going to lead us into some breath work after I kind of talk about some of these steps, because I think it's important to kind of get our focus before we get deeper into this talk. But the first step in integration is always, can I say another always? You guys want to say always with me? Always intention setting. That is step one in integration. It is always going to be the first step. You can't come into a psychedelic integration session and say, oh, I'm going to trip out and this is going to be so much fun. Because if a patient comes to me and says that, I will probably delay treatment, because that is not exactly what I want for them. I want them to say, hey, let's have a reason why we're here. Let's have a reason why this makes sense. Let's figure it out. Me as a veteran, I had a lot of things that I was working through, and I had to do my own self-exploration that were not intentional. They were just like me exploring the universe. And it took me longer to get from point A to point B. If I would have just had a guide that said, would you please set an intention? Why are we here? It would have happened a lot quicker instead of me trying to look at the universe and figure it all out, because most of what we do in these sessions is ineffable. It doesn't have words. It doesn't make any sense. And we're just going, well, cool. That was awesome. Now what? And then there was no one to guide me to help me make sense of it all. So if you're going in, if you haven't done psychedelics already, you're planning on them, or you're mid protocol, have an intention, whatever that is. For me, it was finding wholeness in my PTSD. It was finding confidence in a new lifestyle outside of what I thought was my only world. And for some, it might be body image issues. It might be to feel healthy in their mind because of they're being tormented with depression or anxiety, whatever it is. But don't talk about the intention of the opposite of what is wanted. Okay, so a lot of people will be like, the example I use when I talk with patients is, if you want abundance in your life, don't use the intention of, I don't want to be broke no more. Okay, because that's not a good intention. That's saying that's the opposite of what is wanted. How about we say, I'm abundant, things flow easily to me, I love how it feels to have unexpected abundance in my life. These are the things that I guide them into. So when you sit into a session with me, we do an intention setting first. That is the very first thing. We have a book. I call it a trip report. Pretty unoriginal, I know, but it's just a trip report. It's a book. You write it in there. You have the dose, you have the breath work, you have all the stuff that you're going to do. And you can go home with that. I give them kind of like homework. We'll just call it homework, but basically do your daily breath work, darn it. Just like do that, make that happen. So, and specifically ketamine, I'm going to go into step 2 here, and then I'm going to lead us into a little something, because I just think breath work would be really good for us to go into the last 4 steps before we go further with that. Letting somebody else in here. Okay. So step 2 is going to be, you have to give time and space. Now I'm referring this because I'm a ketamine therapist. So I have to sort of lean on what I know, right? I think that you can do integration with psilocybin a little bit earlier. You can do it even same day, possibly. I say possibly. Usually my psilocybin ceremonies, I have one coming up actually tomorrow, and we wait till the next day. Okay, so we wait till the next day just because I feel like there needs to be space. So that's step 2. Give space for integration. Even though step 1 is intention, you start it, but you got to give yourself space, because I'm going to tell you, after a ketamine session, if those who have done that, well, first of all, I can't use a pen at all. I can't write anything. I can't use my phone. I can barely speak, let alone try to process how the universe opened to me and put it down in a meaningful way on a piece of paper. Okay, it's just not going to happen. And if you're trying to do that with people, guess what? They're going to say, you're out of your mind. I just need to go pee and go eat. Can I go? Let's try to be on the same level and be a little bit, have a little bit of empathy. That's why the therapists that work here are, I would say, required is not the best word, but I will say it's highly suggested that if you work for me, that you are participating in your own work. You're doing ketamine breath work also. And we do monthly, what we call ketamine meetings. I know, fun little play on words. We do ketamine meetings or staff meetings where we guide each other through those, because you have to understand what your patients are going through. And I know I have a clinician here that works at a hospital. I'm not going to call you out, but I'm going to tell you that I was 2 years ago asked to do a wellness retreat for the local hospital, and they were offering ketamine, but none of them had ever experienced it. And they were giving them infusion-based ketamine, mostly in behavior medicine, even in OR. I mean, ketamine, let's just be real, it's been used as an anesthetic since the 1970s. So they can administer it, they know what they're doing with it, but that's on the physical plane, right? That's on channel 1, friends. Let's go, when we crank the knob to channel 5 and we're saying, here we are, and we're in the Anandamaya Kosha, we're in this place of bliss. How do I sit with a person like that when I have someone else in the ER? Well, there has to be some protocols in place. So first is intention setting. You give somebody psychedelics, have them set an intention before you process with them. Give them space. Give them space to really receive it. I call that inspired action space. Sometimes we'd call it intuition space. Sometimes we'd call it receiving a download. It doesn't matter what the heck we call it. It's just a matter of saying, this is beyond my thinking mind. where most of my mental health issues have started. My thinking mind is what created this. I'm analyzing my life too much. I'm worried about the future. I'm thinking about my traumas. I'm triggered by these things. This is all thinking mind stuff, right? Even though it may be below the surface on a subconscious level, it's still thinking mind stuff. So what I'd like to do, I read another quote that I'm going to share with you before I guide you into breathwork. But ketamine gives a new, it gives us a new relationship to ourself by disrupting patterns. Is what I saw. It was by a researcher up in New Hampshire, and he said it just gives us these new relationships to ourself by disrupting patterns. So what we have to do in these ketamine sessions and in others is drop breadcrumbs. You guys heard this before, like ways to get back to that experience. Sometimes some people in the psychedelic therapy world call it the dropping of breadcrumbs is a signature. They call it a signature, something that comes out of the session that can remind you of when you were in the session with psychedelics. So that signature or dropping the breadcrumbs. Sometimes it's a music. For me, I offer breath work because I think that that's something you can always come back to. It's something you can always take with you. And it's a signature that you'll say, when I was deep in that session, I did this breath work with Ryan to this music. I'm going back there to sort of process this and be with it. So today, I'm going to teach you at least one of these. Now, there's some other ones that have to do with contemplative practices and journaling, and we're going to get into that. But what I'd like to do is guide you in breath work that I have not released yet, actually. So those who follow me, this is something a little different. This one I'm actually holding space for. Holding space, that's funny. It's actually called the Breath Source. So we're releasing an app on March the 10th, and it's all breath work. All breath work. You can download it for free. If you follow me on social media, I'll have links out soon. They're just you can download it now if you want, but affiliate links and stuff if you want to support me. It'll be on there, and I'll probably do some stuff on my YouTube. That's why I'm putting this one on YouTube these days, because I figure they're telling me I got to do more content on there, not just my podcast. So, but this particular type of breathwork is called the expanding box technique. And I have been given authorization to use music from my friend DJ Taz Rashid, which is really wonderful. I'm going to use his music because he's going to be supporting my music on the breath source, so we can use it right here. So he's giving me access to these. So I'm going to put on some of his music and guide you guys in the expanding box technique. We're just going to do 2 rounds, and then we'll come back to this kind of piece where we talked about giving breadcrumbs. So let me share my music audio here. There we go. Share audio. There we go. Share. There we go. And I will open this up and play the music. So that's a good volume. If not, I'll crank it up just a little bit. There we go. Hopefully it's a good mix between me and DJ Taz here. You can hear me both. If you're driving, maybe don't drive while doing this part. Just saying. A little hypoxic breath. If you haven't done a lot of breath work, you can lay down. If it's something that you feel comfortable in doing, happy to guide you in this. Just beginning to maybe sit up straight or lay down flat. And just beginning to breathe in through your nose. And again, this is us dropping breadcrumbs. So I want your intention maybe to be to go back to that space when you had a psychedelic moment, a breakthrough, or experience. It could have been good, bad, or ugly. And begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Just in. And then releasing it down. We're going to begin with the box, obviously the expanding box. Breathing in, just fully into the belly, the ribs, the heart. And then releasing it all the way down. We're going to begin to start with our box with a 4 count. Here we go. Beginning to breathe in. Breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold right there for 4 counts. Now release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. 4, 3, 2. There you go. And release. 4 counts down. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 5. All the way up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold. Continuing this box, breathe in for 5. Expand the ribs, the belly, the heart all the way up, and then hold it at the top. Maybe even have your hands on your heart. You're noticing the heart beginning to move a little faster, and then releasing it all the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold at the bottom. Holding here. We're going to expand this box to 6. Here we go. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. All the way down. And holding for 6. You get the idea, right? We're breathing into this box. More inhale or more exhales or holds than inhales. Continue this box, breathing in for 6 and hold it at the top. As you expand, maybe you feel it through your nose, maybe you're feeling your heart expanding. Really try to breathe into the belly. When you release, really release like you're letting something go. Let it go all the way down. And then holding at the bottom. As you get to the bottom, here we go. We're going to breathe in for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 6 in. We're moving out of the box, going into a balanced breath. Out for 6. There it is. Breathe in. 6 counts. Big, deep, and full. They're kind of hard to do 6 count breaths. And then release all the way down. I'm going to move to 5 now. Here we go. In for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now out. Breathe in. 5, 3, 2. Keep this 5 count going. In and out for 5. Just moving the breath. Feeling it expanding, opening and lifting. And maybe you're bringing in that intention that you set at that last psychedelic session, or maybe a new one for today. And you're saying, this is why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to expand. I'm here to integrate. I'm here to maybe evolve a little bit. Here to change. All those things are possible. Wherever you are now. All of us together take a full breath in all the way to the top. And release it all the way down just with a sound. As we get down to the bottom, we're going to move this to a 4 count breath. Here we go. Beginning to breathe in. In, 2, 3, 4. Now out. 2, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Now out. 2. It's going to start to speed up. And in. 2, 3, 4. Now out. 2. We're going to 3. In, 2, 3. Out. 2, 3. Now in. And relax. Exhale, and then inhale. 3 counts. 2, 3. Now exhale. 2, 3. Now in. 2, 3. And out. Just keep moving the breath. You might feel a little discomfort in the nose. You might be feeling some ringing in the ears. This is the nervous system waking up, saying, what do you need, human? You're asking me for this activation, and here it is. You might start to feel the influence of the chemicals, that alchemy that's within you, that thing that makes you feel sometimes tense or stressed, happening. Now, wherever you are, as you get to the next exhale, start to breathe in. In, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. There's 10 more. You got this. I know it might feel a little bit like you're feeling like a little lightheaded. Maybe you're feeling like a little bit panicky. It's okay. You got this. This is you creating the environment or the catalyst for activation that might remind you of that altered state that you once had or you're going to have. This is what it's going to be like. You're implementing this. In, 2, out, 2. 5 more. Out, 2. Breathe in, 2, out, 2. 2 more. In, 2, out, 2. Last one. In, 2, out, 2. Take a giant breath all the way to the top wherever you are. And release it all the way down. And hold in a neutral lung. Not breathing. Not changing anything. Just knowing that you have plenty of oxygen. You have plenty. Your body might have an air hunger where it says, I want to breathe more, but you have plenty of oxygen. As you hold your heart space, you might feel that it's going fast. This happens when we're panicky, when we're stressed, when we have things that don't go our way, when things feel uncomfortable. And here you are just holding the breath, saying, I see you. I notice you. I notice this internal barometer that's my heart telling me when things are kind of out of whack. They're not exactly the way I want them to wherever you are. Take a giant breath in all the way to the top now. Breathe all the way in. Holding at the top. Maybe you take another sip here. Just. And I want you to release it all the way down now to another hold. All the way down. Neutral lung. Hold. No breathing. Just witnessing. This is where ideas flow. This is where intuition flows. This is where that activation becomes our limbic mind feeling rather than our thinking mind screwing it up. This is where our feeling mind, our limbic system says, what do you need? You need melatonin here. You're trying to relax. You say you're safe. Take a full breath in all the way up. Hold at the top. Take another sip. And when you're ready, release it all the way down. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Beautiful first round. Let's do one more round. This one's a little different because we're going to end with the box this time rather than starting with the box. You ready? Let's begin with our 6 count balanced breath. Breathing in through the nose, expanding the belly. Breathe in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale all the way down. 6 counts down. Breathe in. Exhale. Just getting into that flow. Belly expands, the ribs, the heart, and then you release it. You're just sort of flowing with it. You're listening to the music, saying, okay, I feel it. And as you breathe in, you take that giant deep breath, and then you release it all the way down. Let's move to 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. And release. This is you flowing with your breath, expanding and opening, and then letting go. Bringing in your intention with that inhale. Maybe you bring it in and just even say it. Strength. I am strong. I am brave. I am powerful. I can. I will. And as you exhale, if you feel like you need to make noise to let something go, then do that. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Now exhale. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. And exhale. Expand. Lift. Now release. In, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. You got this. It might feel a little uncomfortable, like a lot of stuff does sometimes, but here we are breathing, expanding, opening, and accepting change, or accepting that the psychedelic session itself, to keep breathing, is not only the work. A lot of people come to us and say, here, give me the medicine and it's going to change my life forever. And that is very rarely true. The change happens here when you say, I'm going to implement what I learned and be a different human. We're moving to 3. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. And out, 2, 3. In, belly, ribs, heart, out, heart, ribs, belly. Breathe in. And then let it go. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Breathe in. And let it go. Moving to 2 count. Here we go. In, 2, out, 2. In, 2, out, 2. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a giant breath in all the way to the top. You got this. Fully in all the way up. Breathe in. Release it all the way down to a neutral lung and hold. Neutral lungs, not fully empty, not fully full, just somewhere in between. And I want you to see if you can bring your activation. You just feel your hands maybe tingling, or your ears tingling, or your head buzzing, or you're feeling worry or stressed or even anxious. I'm just saying, this is my present moment thought right now. That's what I'm feeling. Whether it feels good or bad, it feels like distress or it feels like joy. If your feet are on the ground, feel your feet grounded. If your tailbone is in a chair, feel your tailbone grounded. You're safe. You're okay. Those worries that come in are just your thinking mind trying to save you, saying, I'm trying to keep this human alive because I love them. That is you. That person that says that I love you, that's still you. the feelings that don't feel so good. It's kind of like somebody pushing you out of moving traffic, saying, I love you, I don't want you to get hit by a car. When you hit the pavement, it hurts still. When you're ready, take a full breath in here, all the way to the top. Hold it at the top, feeling that expansion, that oxygen, that hypoxic feeling. We're going from hypocapnic state to breathing in, holding. Maybe take another sip here because you can. To say, I can, I will. And then release it all the way down to a hold. And hold. Noticing any changes, feelings, joy, anger, happiness. Letting that be your dominant feeling and your point of attention, saying, this is how I feel when this happens. Take a full breath in. Last one here, all the way up. Holding at the top. And releasing it all the way down. There you go. You can move back into your normal breath. But before you do, take a minute here, just noticing the shift, the change, the space that might have been created, the awareness that was created, awareness to your breath, awareness to your nervous system, awareness to your present moment. We didn't do that just to feel funny. That's what we don't take psychedelics just to feel funny. We do them, like I said, it gives us a new relationship to ourselves by disrupting patterns. And this new relationship can happen in any altered state, including your breathwork state. This is that signature, that's the breadcrumb that brings you back to that psychedelic moment when you had that breakthrough that you couldn't put words to. When you had that breathwork session that you said, I don't know what happened, but something did. I'm going to do that again and be reminded of where I came from. Beautiful. I'm going to come back to our main screen here. Maybe I am, possibly. There we go. If you want to put in the chat, or if you'd like to come off of mute, you can, but I'm going to leave everyone on mute. Maybe just raise your hand and I'll unmute you if you want to do that. That might be, I'm using the tool at the bottom, raise your hand. And if you want to say anything about your breathwork session, or maybe just type a word, how you feel after doing breathwork, you can put that into the chat if you'd like. So that's just offering a word is a really nice way. And this is something that I usually offer in live sessions. I do have a live session coming up, actually, March the 4th. We're doing a breath as medicine session. And actually, I have a retreat coming up. Connected. I like that word, Rox. Yeah, connected to maybe community, connecting to you, everyone around you. Energetic, says Michelle. It's a wonderful word to say. Yeah, energetic, rooted. Yeah, definitely. Breathwork always brings me back to a space of feeling a little bit grounded and connected. Calm, yeah. Whatever word you come up with, maybe that is where your signature is. Remember, and writing that down. I'm going to talk a little bit about journal writing here in a second. Everybody does journal writing differently, and I'm going to tell you that there's not one right and one wrong way to do journal writing. But I'm going to come back to this breath work being something that is going to be sort of the breadcrumbs that take you back to that psychedelic session. That is for me. When I do breath work, that's what I feel. Meditation brings me back there. A great teacher of mine, Ram Dass, and many of you are familiar with him, he started doing psychedelics because he wanted to explore consciousness. And he said the problem was he always had to come down. That was the problem with getting high, is he always had to come down. There was no permanent. So he wanted to find a way to always stay high. And there's just no way other than taking lots and lots of drugs. And that really is what we see a lot of patients doing sometimes. And as clinicians, we need to monitor that, because no healing is really happening. It's just this constant state of disassociation. And as practitioners, those of us who are practitioners who are using this, know that we may be amplifying our mental health. I don't want to call it a dysfunction, but are not helping our mental health situation. Maybe not helping maybe that condition that we're in by just constantly disassociating. So doing the work, implementing it, and then letting ourselves call us back to saying, hey, I'm ready for another journey. I'm ready for another journey space, however often that is. Because going day to day or week to week on the same things is really just the same thing as taking an SSRI, in my opinion. It's just you being in a state that you want to be in, and then you're bound to that by because you can't get off, because you don't really know what your whole self feels like anymore. So this is dropping the breadcrumbs. Now, the breadcrumbs, this is what we talked about sort of is I'll call this, I guess, step 3 in a way, but this is just sort of me talking about what mindfulness is. But dropping the breadcrumbs is things like meditation, it's things like breath work and mindful moments. Okay, so let me define what a mindful moment is, because that's kind of a buzzword in like the healing space, right? You hear this all the time, mindful this and mindful that, and yoga studios call that, and different places called mindful this and mindful that. Well, what does mindfulness really mean? Some people would call it meditation, and I would say, no, that's not what it is at all, actually. Mindfulness is its own thing, right? Mindfulness can easily be defined as present moment awareness without judgment. That's what I would say it is. Present moment awareness without judgment. So when we move into mindful moments, it could be anything, right? It could be anything. It doesn't have to be meditation. It doesn't have to be breath work. For me, my most mindful moments are getting into the cold. That's what happens for me. Those are my most mindful moments. Usually breath work is before that. Usually meditation happens somewhat after that. Each day is different, right? But mindful moments are present moments of awareness without judgment. So now what? Here we are trying to implement these things. We're setting an intention before going into a psychedelic session. We're giving them space before we try to analyze them. And then we have a mindful moment. Okay, we have a mindful moment of breath work, of meditation, to be able to then begin to do something meaningful with that information. What is that? Okay, so for me, another mindful moment, I guess it kind of goes in with the line what I was just saying to you, is getting into nature. Okay, getting into nature. Nature kind of does its own thing. And though none of us, those who are really deep into nature immersion, get it, but we don't understand why. It just like we feel like we're at home. It feels like everything's in peace and harmony and balance, and we just feel better. So getting into those areas of discomfort, sometimes getting into the ice bath. But I think what the key is for me when I get into nature, and this is why I've minimalized, and this is why I'm van lifing this year, and many reasons why I spend a lot of time in nature, is because I can disconnect. And I do mean that little device you hold in your hand. So I can disconnect. Today I'm in my clinic right now, so I can have nice Wi-Fi to talk to you. But for the most time, I'm hard to get a hold of. And that's good for me. That's what I want. I want to be able to disconnect, because we live at such a high-paced society where everything needs to be done now, and it has to be completed now, and you have to answer this. And really that amplifies some of the anguish that we feel in our mental health. And I truly believe that as we disconnect or unplug, we allow ourselves that space, but also we're not seeking, I want you guys to hear me out on this, and we're not seeking the dopamine hits when we can't connect. The dopamine hits to say, I liked your post. The dopamine hits that say somebody commented on my thing. The dopamine hit that comes from a new event coming up or a new thing happening in town. All these things make us feel good temporarily, and just for that moment we feel good, and that's why we're constantly checking. I wish I had I know she's on the thing here. I wish my partner was with me and I could tell you how to check my screen recording. But I know she knows how to do that, but I don't know how to do it. But anyway, I was going to say your screen time, right? So if you knew what your screen time was, how many of you would dare show it? How many of you would dare show what your screen time is if I asked you to show your phone? Many of you probably wouldn't. You would say, no way. And is that because we're embarrassed? Is it because we know that we're spending too much time in one place? Is it because what? Well, if we're embarrassed to show our screen time, then what does that say about what we're doing with our free time to uplift ourselves? So, there's a lot of things that I do first thing in the morning. I don't look at my phone. I do two things in the morning. And again, my partner, she can nod her head. She's on this call, you can see, but I listen to Abraham Hicks in the morning. That's one thing I will do with my phone. I will listen to Abraham Hicks because that's uplifting. It gets me going. It's just right for me. I don't look at social media until after 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. So I have a 12-hour window where I can do that. That is me putting boundaries on myself. So this is about unplugging. It's about getting rid of the dopamine hits that we need to feel self-gratification, self-satisfaction that sometimes leads us into depression. And then we end up saying, I need to fix this depression. And so we end up in a psychedelic journey, hoping that this ketamine will fix us. But we got to do the work, friends. So if we don't do the work, setting some boundaries about where we're getting our dopamine, then we're still going to be tethered by that. It doesn't matter how many drugs you take. You're still going to be bound with that dopamine hit. For me, I go get into the ice bath. I get a 300% increase of dopamine by sitting into that ice bath and enjoying that. I feel perfectly fine. Matter of fact, I kind of don't even like looking at my phone after that. I'm just like, wow, I feel fantastic. I'm ready to run around town. I'm ready to go get some things done. I'm ready to accomplish tasks. How many of you have done an ice bath and been like, I need to clean my whole house now? Whew. That's me. So that's exactly what happens. So the fourth thing, so after we unplug, is tuning into the body. Now, this is not for everybody. I will tell you that we all have different ways that we tune into the body. For me, it is yoga. That's how I tune into the body. I feel like movement is needed for me to tune into my body and how I feel, especially if you're having some body dysmorphia issues, if you're feeling as though you're having eating disorder issues, if you're feeling as though there's just nothing is working out right for you on a physical plane, when you begin to move your body, especially if you have a trauma-informed instructor. So I teach a trauma-informed yoga at Sunrock Yoga in St. George, but they're everywhere. Okay. You can find them. I can guide you to where you can find trauma-informed instructors everywhere. Okay. There's a company called Blue Matter. They're on the internet. You can go look up their classes. My friend Elizabeth Vecchio teaches that. There's also one called Love Your Brain, another one, all trauma-informed. They're going to guide you through practices that are not going to judge. They're not going to have expectation. They're going to be really movement practices of inquiry. Another one is ecstatic dance. You don't have to know how to dance to go to ecstatic dance. You can just move and feel free in your body and feel exercise and get that dopamine going and feel as though you're kind of connecting. Even if you're having some issues with body dysmorphia, and it doesn't matter your age, friends, everyone can move a little bit. Trust me, I have seen the videos of the old men with the canes doing their little dance stuff. Okay, I've seen it all. You can move, you can do whatever. You can come to yoga. Men, yes, I'm talking to you men. Come to yoga. It is not a place for just women to come and gather. It is a place for everyone. And I'm going to tell you, I used to lift weights. I used to be 205 pounds, eating a lot of protein shakes, and I was lifting weights twice a day. And I was so worried about my abdominals and my chest and my arms. And it was to impress others. I was sitting in a tanning booth several times a week. Can you believe it? Those who know me, I was tanning because I wanted to look better. And I'm going to tell you that I felt horrible about my body then. And now, just doing yoga and eating right and getting into the practices that I do. I mean, I'm not going to say ice bathing is a weight loss remedy. However, the metabolism is through the roof after I take an ice bath, and it's certainly the brown fat activation helps with that. But from doing that, I feel more healthy and I feel more confident in my body now. So tune into the body. The fifth, and I'm going to talk about fifth and sixth kind of as the same thing, and then I'm going to open this up to you guys for the last little bit to kind of talk about your session, but is getting into routines. So I talked about breath work being one of them. You can find me on the BreathSource app. It's free. Insight Timer, it's free. You can pay for additional sessions on there if you want. You can find those there. I'll be posting it on my YouTube channel and on my Instagram. You can come to retreats. I have a retreat here in Southern Utah. If you want to learn more about breathwork, I have a course online. There's no excuses, guys. There's courses that I offer. There's people that I can guide you to. There's so many places that you can go and find places to create new habits. So for me, I would say creating a habit of breathing in the morning would be my number one priority. That's what I would do. Before you get out of bed, do it. Next would be to adding things like journaling. Journaling doesn't have to be Dear Diary. Okay. I don't journal that way. My partner doesn't journal that way. This is not how we journal. Okay. We're not doing Dear Diary. This is what happened to me today, and this is how I feel. No. How about just putting down something creative, pictures, or writing maybe something like a dream journal. Like if you had a dream at night and it was a bad dream or a good dream, and you write about it and you say, this is what I experienced. Because see, a lot of what happens in these psychedelic journeys is simply the unconscious mind talking to the conscious through that astral body. So that's like a channel 4. Remember at the beginning, we talked about the different channels. It's kind of like a channel 4 selection where it's saying, hey, pay attention. If you see a lot of synchronicities and numbers, that is saying, listen to me. And so you start to write those things down. And maybe for you, it's collaging. Maybe for you, it's painting. Maybe for you, your journaling is just doing shapes. For me, I like to do something called focus wheels. And I think we did that. I believe I did it on the last one. I saved the recordings from last time, by the way. So I'm going to try to upload those to my YouTube now that I've learned how to do it, so that we can go back into those. I think we did focus wheels last time, but that's something that I offer here in the clinic, and that's how I journal. It's a manifesting technique, but that's how I journal, and I put them in my notebook, and I can go back to them, and I can always go through them. So I'm going to close this here, and then I'm going to open it up to you for those who want to chime in and talk about psychedelics. If you have questions, if you want to know about how to integrate, which techniques, information on particular psychedelics you're thinking about taking or that you have, I'm going to open it up to you. So number 1, integration, always setting that. Number 2, give time before you try to implement anything. Just give space. Leave the find out what the breadcrumbs are that you want to leave. Okay, that's number 3. Leave the breadcrumbs of music, of the smells, even incense. I have incense going right now, so maybe incense is that breadcrumb that you use to go back to that mindful moment. Maybe it's meditation, or some sort of mindfulness technique. Again, I can help you with those. I get a lot of people who say they can't meditate, but you really can. You just have to be taught different techniques that are going to work for you. So immersing in nature, unplugging, tuning into the body through any kind of movement, and finally is creating some new routines and habits, which could include journaling, painting, playing music, whatever. I play a lot of music to do that. So if you'd like to come off mute and chat, you're welcome to. I think to keep it sort of contained, if you go down to the very bottom under the reactions on your screen, you can hit raise hand. And when you raise your hand, I will call on you, and you can unmute. I guess I should present this with a question rather than just saying unmute. Has anyone been interested in ketamine and wants to know more about it? I think that's probably the way I would like to start this, and then we'll move on to other subjects as they come up. Okay, I don't see anybody raising their hand about ketamine. All right, well, I won't talk about ketamine. How about psilocybin? Is anyone wanting to work with psilocybin or have questions about psilocybin?
Carly commented in the comment section that she was yes. Interested.
Okay, I see that. Thank you, Katie. You're the best. Let me see, Carly. Go ahead and come off mute there, Carly. I'm trying to find you here. I don't see you in the. I think she dropped off. Yeah, I think she dropped off. I can't see her to raising the hand here. Carly, if you're on, you can unmute and come on. Nope, I don't see her. If she comes back on, she's welcome to jump in. So let's talk about other avenues. Is there any other psychedelics that you've heard of or you're interested in? Because the biggest question that I get all the time is, which one should I do? And the truth is, they're not all the same. Okay, and so if you come on this thinking that all psychedelics are the same because they're all called psychedelics, you're absolutely wrong. There's so much variety between them, and there's so much difference in the way we use them in treatment is way different. So we do these psychedelic mixers every month, and we kind of go through some of the varieties. I know that we're going to have MDMA as an option here really, really soon, once that's available to us through the FDA. We'll have psilocybin in some varieties. I have it available now as through the Divine Assembly. So if that's something you're interested in exploring, I can talk to you about that. And then there's some others that I am not as familiar with. However, I can guide you to the right people. Ibogaine and ayahuasca, 5-MeO, and some others that are out there in the market. Some of them I advocate and others I do not advocate as heavily. Not as advocate as heavily. I know that Carly wanted to come on when she did chat. So Carly is interested in this in kind of a clinical setting. Some of you who are on the call are certified ketamine breath workers. And that's the training that I do. I'd like to do it twice a year. I'd like to, but right now I'm only doing it once a year. Opening it to people who I trust and who I am interested in. But if you're interested in learning more about ketamine breathwork, it starts with taking my breathwork course. And then from there, we do an additional training and along with some supervised sessions as we grow. So if no one has questions, I'm quite surprised, but if you don't have questions, it's all fine. I will tell you about some of the things that we're doing. Let you know when we're doing the next training. Yeah, I haven't planned it yet, but Lily, you can do the breath work now. You can do the breath work training right now and starting to participate. It is, I can give you a link. Just message me directly. You can message me. I'll type it here. Those who are interested in it, you just send me an email at ryan@theketamineclinic.com. And you can message me there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link with a discount code so you can take the breathwork course. I have somebody in Vegas and another person in Salt Lake who are already taking this course and are looking at doing the next one. What I want to do is get people doing the breathwork course first. And once I have about 10 people, so right now I have like 3. Once I have 10 people, then I'll schedule another course. That's kind of how I'm doing it, because the course is 7 weeks long. So you may as well just do the online portion first before you worry about coming to St. George for the weekend, you know? So that's how I recommend doing it. So if anybody's interested in being a facilitator of ketamine and ketamine breath work, that's the step you take, is first doing the language of breath course. So you do that online. If you're want to learn more about the language of breath, languageofbreathcollective.com is where you would go to do that. But I can send you the link so you get the discount. I think you're going to want it. It's like $100 discount. So you're going to want that. In March, I have Breath is Medicine. That's March the 4th. I have a Wim Hof method that I'm teaching March the 5th. So if you're interested in getting into the cold, doing that kind of breath work. And then March the 23rd, I'll be speaking at TED Talks at Tuacahn in St. George about the language of breath. So if you're something you're interested in learning more about breath, I'll be at those places. In addition, we just did a live today. It's on my Instagram with my friends up in Alaska, and I'm doing a breathwork retreat in Alaska, in Hatcher Pass, Alaska, about an hour north of Anchorage. That'll be happening, and I'm doing a teacher training. Sorry, I have another one too, the Inspire Fest, which is April the 28th. So right when that is happening in Homestead, Utah. That's with me and my friend Jesse Coomer. We're teaching Language of Breath Inspire Fest, which is a breathwork retreat. And then we have teacher training in Silverton, Colorado for Language of Breath instructors in July. So lots of things happening. If you want to be on my newsletter and you want to get all this information, the first step is to just follow my Instagram. But if you want to be on my newsletter, there is a little link on my newsletter at Ryan Bean Yoga. And it's a pop-up link. It's my landing page. You click that link and it'll give you a thing that says, hey, give me your name and email. Give me that name and email, or just email me at Ryan at the Ketamine Clinic, and I will add you to that because there's a lot of information that I'm just spewing here, and you're probably not going to remember it. The best way is just to get my newsletter that I do once a month. So usually goes out once a month. I'm not usually trying to sell anybody on anything except for these little gummies. I'm telling you, they're amazing. I think there's a couple of you that have had them. These ones are the stress ones. They make one for sleep, which has valerian root in it. And they make another one for focus, which has they're awesome, guys. I don't support any products on my podcast anywhere. These ones are just awesome. And I don't smoke any cannabis very, very often? I see Matt hold them. Yeah. I just don't anymore because it's just like these just do it for me. They do exactly what I mean. I still have a little bit of cannabis, but like this is the answer for stress and anxiety for me. It's been amazing. So I appreciate you guys spending time with me here today, an hour. I'm going to do another integration session. I'm going to do them once a month. So invite your friends, those who are interested in learning more about psychedelics. I think we have the whole crew here that's pretty familiar. So I didn't need to go too deep into education on psychedelics today because you all know it. You guys are bunch of psychonauts, which is awesome. That's cool. I don't mind. I like psychonauts. It's me too. So right on. That's who we hire here at Satori, is psychonauts. So if you're interested in being a psychonaut, you can hang with me here. Again, thank you for joining today, learning a little bit about this. It'll be on my YouTube, which is just you can use the life as an observer is the tag. I think it's actually my page is actually YouTube/Ryan Beam, but if you type in life as an observer, it'll come up. That's my podcast, and this will be there. So if you feel like you want to share this with anybody that they could gain information that was not on here, go to YouTube and find me there. Thanks, friends. Let's be safe this weekend. I'll see some of you at our little ceremony tomorrow. So see you there.